Hey guys, I hope you can hear me. I've just been kind of making this update video. I haven't made an update video in very long. I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between a couple projects. But lately the projects that I've been working on is two decoders that I installed myself. The installations went great. One of them I have been documenting, and that's the SD70 Mac in the BNSF 9520. That's the Tsunami 2 decoder. Everything is going great with that decoder so far. I just haven't got very far with it. But then also there's installation of the Wowsound decoder into Atlas GP38-2 painted in the Indiana Railroad scheme, which is number 3802. And I believe if you look at some of my previous videos, you'll see that I did kind of like a review-ish type of video on the 3802 and 3803 locomotives. And I did have a little clip of it running with Wowsound in it when I was still in Georgia. But I've been having some problems. Like I've been having like one problem after another. And I don't know if, I don't feel like it's really actual problems with the decoder as much as things not being set up very user-friendly. And I think that the interesting thing about this is that the TCS company, Train Control Systems, one of their main things is that they're user-friendly, and I just don't get it because their manuals. I mean, I'm in the Army, I do satellite communications, and I'm barely able to understand some of their manuals. I'm thinking the average Joe, the average guy who doesn't really mess with computers much, he opens up that manual, he's not going to know what he's doing. So I first started DCC, or first got into DCC, and I think it was December of 2014. That's when I originally got back into model railroading. And it's funny because like I was originally mostly a steam fan, and I still am a steam fan. I just really like the modern stuff because that's what you can rail fan today, but I really still am a real fan of steam. So originally I was going to make a steam railroad, and I was watching Chuck Baker, so I got this Bachmann sound value unit with a Tsunami sound in it. It's got the this is the cheap Tsunami one. What do they call it? Economy Soundtracks Economy, not really Tsunami, but Economy sound. And the one thing about it is that it sounds really nice. It would be a lot better with a better speaker and a keep alive. But options wise, the decoder just doesn't have, like, it's easy to get bored with it fast. It's a fun decoder, fun engine to run, but you can get bored really fast because there's just not that many options. You know, you literally have the bell, the whistle, you know, the forward and reverse, the blow down. There is an option to turn an air compressor on it, I think. And then of course you have the lights, and that's really it. So, and it's a great running little decoder. It's one of those engines that, like, the way that I'm very sensitive to sounds in decoders. So decoders that are like have like an annoying, like, tinny sound to them, like, I don't like them. I tend to run those engines on mute all the time, so that kind of defeats the purpose of having a sound decoder. But this engine, the Bachmann sound value, like, I can run it in a circle just at my house for a long time and not get tired of it. That's the beginning of my sound journey in DCC. As I'm delving into this stuff, I'm beginning to see why some of the older gentlemen in the hobby are still diehard DC fans, because You can do a lot with DC still. Yes, you can't get sound and everything, and it's a little bit more complicated to get walk around control. Um, but the block control of trains adds a really interesting operationally, and I think that if we could incorporate that type of block wiring into our DCC systems, we might actually be able to even unlock some more possibilities as what we can do. But I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I'm working with and talk about some of the problems that I'm having. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, I turned the camera around. This is the second time trying to upload not necessarily a rant video, but last time it got to be 18 minutes long, and my first part where I had the video facing towards me was like 5 minutes long, so that's going to be way too long for like video like this. These are my three, or not my three, but a couple of my projects. I'll show you my space that I'm working with. My roommate moved down the hall, so I snagged the back side of the room. This is what I'm working with. It's kind of crappy. And here we're supposed to get the new barracks, but we got the older ones. And this is the space I originally was working with. This is where I was sleeping at, and I had my desk here. And then over here I have my workbench with my shelves. This is where I was doing the video on the SD70 Mac. But I moved over into this side of the room since it was vacant. Apologize for the mess. I put my shelves up here. Up there is 24 tank cars. Yeah. There's some locomotives. That's a really nice looking Rio Grande locomotive. I wonder whose engine that is. Whoa, oh, stop it. Alright, got some American Limited, all this other craziness. Alright, let's get on to the point now. Alright, so I'm having a lot of problems with these decoders. I wanted to have one of each of basically the big three, you know, sound decoders, so I can compare them so that as I buy more locomotives I know what I like and what I want to use. Originally, so I already tried MTH ProtoSound 3. I had two different locomotives that have that. A lot of potential there, but they just didn't design the functions very prototypically. In ProtoSound 3, honestly I have to say that the sound and the bass in ProtoSound 3 is better than any other sound system that is out there right now. I wish that MTH would get their act together and make sound systems that are more back compatible and also more flexible as far as programming and prototype operation with the back EMF and stuff like that. They would go so far, they would sell everybody out under the table if they did that, but they're still kind of stuck in toy train mode. Their little remote uncoupling thing is really, really cool. I had it on the GP35 and it worked really good. But let's go on to this. Alright, so I have GP38-2 with TCS Wowsound in it. Installation went perfect, guys. Tsunami 2 in the SD70 Mac. Installation also went perfect. Haven't installed any sound in this one yet. This is an MTH. Came DCC ready, and I have another MTH SD70 Ace right here, so I got two of them. Also have a lock sound decoder that I got from modeltrainstuff.com about a year ago, so that was before Full Throttle came out. I have my little test track here, and then I also have 26 3/8 radius Kato Unitrack set up on the floor so I can do my runs and stuff. I have all my layout pieces here, so I'm excited now that I moved over into this side of the room. I can set up 8 foot of layout here, and it'll give me more stuff to do since I'm so bored. But anyways, this decoder, guys, works great. Like, I'm really impressed with the TCS decoders and how they operate. The problem is programming them. They're very difficult to program, and to add to that aggravation, they advertise that they're easy to program because they have this thing called audio assist, which only takes you through basic functions and doesn't really take you anywhere. If you wanted to really customize your locomotive, It's really difficult. Their manuals are very comprehensive, but they don't explain anything in their manuals. They tell you this CV does this and this and this and yada yada, but they don't really explain anything very well. So I spent some time on the phone with a gentleman from the tech support last night, and he walked me through setting up the number boards, connecting the number boards, which I installed monster LEDs in these number boards, and they work really nice. Little plastic crystal in there, glued them in, and then painted black around them so it looks nice. I wish I had them working so I could show you how nice they are. I dimmed them down so they look really prototypical. I'll do a video once I get all the bugs worked out. But I tried to switch. I put them originally on function 3 because I got rid of the short horn, because on these decoders you don't really need a short horn. It's kind of like what I've heard people say about lock sound. Like, what do you need a short horn for? The horn is so sensitive, you can just touch the regular horn and make a short horn. Anyways, I put them on function 3, but then considering the fact that this is kind of a switcher type of locomotive, and I want to be able to use my switcher throttles, which only have 0 through 12 functions, and you have to press shift to get from 7 through 12. I want to be able to turn the headlight on, ring the bell, blow the whistle, uncouple, brake, dynamic brake, and brake release, all in the first 7 functions, 0 through 7 or 0 through 6. So I tried to move that number board light to function or to button 11, and then I lost control of it. And when I tried to put it back to function or button 3, it would just randomly come on and randomly go off. I just don't understand, guys. I'm kind of getting tired of having to call TCS every single time. And honestly, TCS, like, these are a great product. It's great when manufacturers put something out there that pushes the other manufacturers that are more rooted and, you know, make a lot more money than you to build the industry up better. And like, I made a video about this before with freight cars. Same thing with decoders. TCS is a smaller company. They're building better decoders. They're forcing companies like Ryzen Hobby, which makes Tsunami, and Locksound, which they don't really care about. Everybody else does, it seems, because they're, you know, over there in Europe and stuff. But I don't know. Hopefully nobody takes that offensive. But I mean, Locksound, as far as having more sounds, Locksound is the best. As far as having accurate sounds, Locksound is the best, other than unless you're going with Rail Pro or something like that. But Rail Pro is not really compatible with consisting. But anyways, yeah, so I put the TCS in this decoder, in this engine. It's really great. I love the slow motor control. This thing is phenomenal, guys. Programming it is such beans. Like, it is ridiculously stupid to program it. Does it take CVs? Yes. The problem is finding out what CVs to program and trying to figure out that when you program this CV, what it messes up with some other CV and all these other combinations that they have worked in these decoders. I realize other decoders have combinations, but guys, they need better manuals. TCS, you need to rewrite your manuals for the average Joe. Guys, I'm in the Army as satellite communications, and it's hard for me to understand what some of these CVs actually do in the manuals because they're not really explained. Like, if you were an electrical engineer, you could probably read these manuals and be like, okay, I understand what this does. For the average Joe, I don't understand how the average Joe is going to read their manual and be able to understand what CVs do what. That's just it, guys. Alright, I'm going to end this rant here because the last time I got way too long, so please give me your opinions, advice. I can't get JMRI to connect, or, well, it programs, but it won't read anything off of any of the engines. Some people have said it's because the PS14 power supply sucks, but it doesn't work when it's connected through LocoNet either. So guys, thanks for watching, thanks for following my channel, my projects. If you have any opinions or ideas, please let me know. And if I find out, or as I say, as I find out, because I will continue to find out about this, how these things work, how to program. I'll post some more videos. Eventually I'll post a video on my findings on how to program the TCS decoders. Guys, thanks for watching. I belong from here.